Hi, hello, it's me, Lisa the Love Coach here, and I am chilling. And I wanted to come to you today with this really great message about the power to choose happiness no matter what. No matter what, you can always choose happiness. Whatever is coming your way, you have the power to look at it from a place of happiness, from a place of how can this turn into happiness? What's on the other side of this? How can I see joy in this? And it is interesting how, I've done some research over the last couple of days. I've been moving into my new place and I've been playing some audios and diving into some really interesting information out there about happiness and specifically how it pertains to the political climate that we see ourselves in America. And I would imagine it's also in other parts of the Western world as well, where we have two sides. It seems like we're incredibly divided. It seems like happiness is something that is out of reach. We're being forced to live in a certain way that is impeding upon and infringing upon our happiness. We're being told where to go, when we can go, how we can go, masks, to wear masks over our faces, to not be connected to people, to remain 6 feet away from people. So a lot of this stuff that we're going through as a global community for the countries affected by COVID-19, we're feeling like this sucks. This is kind of like an overarching feeling of this sucks. And so what I wanted to do is come on and talk about how we get to choose what sucks and what doesn't suck. And even despite having to wear a mask, despite having to abide by certain rules and maybe feeling as if you're very held back from your own happiness, there is a way to always, no matter what, be mindful, protective, and nurturing of your own peace and your own happiness. And last week I decided longer, but I actually moved in to a new place to live a week ago. And coming up on the first week in my place, and I have furniture coming, I have, how it is when you move, it's boxes everywhere, it's a lot of things that you feel kind of in a disarray. It could be a little stressful even. You're just unpacking and figuring out where things are going to go. And you're literally stepping into, at least I felt like I was stepping into a whole new version of myself. This version now who lives here, where I'm living, coming to you now. So I felt like, how can I make this happy? Moving is a pain in the ass. Everyone says it, right? And if you've ever experienced moving, it's kind of a pain in the ass. And then moving during COVID-19, oh my God, what's gonna be? But I made the decision to do this from a place of joy. I made the decision that no matter what happens in this move, no matter what happens, I am choosing to be happy. The end game, happiness. This doesn't mean that if something doesn't happen, I'm not going to assert myself, that I'm not going to stand up for myself, that I'm not going to protect my peace and happiness. Honey, I protect my peace and happiness all the time. Somebody outside is trying to mess with my peace and happiness, well, they're gonna hear it, right? We're gonna come to some kind of conclusion, some kind of dialogue, because I'm not having it. I'm not allowing anyone or anything to disturb my peace and my happiness. And once you commit to that, you start to look for joy. You start to look for the positive things that happen in your life. You start to look to the solutions to problems instead of more problems. You start to look at what's right in the world instead of what's wrong in the world. And it's funny to me how in all of the research that I've been doing, as I told you, I was listening to different things online. I was listening to some Dennis Prager, who I find absolutely brilliant. I think he's great, and it's certainly an older person who is wise that other generations really need to hear from. And he is a gentleman who travels around, goes to colleges, and really spreads positivity and very firm honest conversation about what it means to be a conservative in today's American culture. And it's really interesting because I find, and I thought and felt inside that I am generally a happy person. Like there was a time when I wasn't, and I voted Democratic when I was in not a happy point in my life, when I was on a grind, in a hamster wheel, and I felt like all I did was wake up, commute, sit in an office with like no windows. Actually not true. 3 of my offices did have windows, but the one at the end did not. But point is, like, I was on this hamster wheel. I was in this grind of a life. I was looking at the world from a very different perspective. And my political leanings mirrored that. So the worse I felt, the more I wanted the government or someone to serve me, to rescue me, to give me more. When I realized that I am totally responsible for my happiness and I am aligned with something higher and greater who wants nothing but good things for me, I stopped looking at government for my answers and I started to look to God, and I started to understand that in this country, America, beautiful, amazing country that everybody in the world wants to get in on, they are basically, founding fathers found our country based on faith in God. And faith in God has a very different thing than religion, practicing religion. You can practice any kind of religion, right? In America, we have freedom of religion. It's amazing. That's one thing, right? But spiritual faith is something completely different, right? So I'll give you an example. A lot of people have told me that they are of faith and they feel unhappy because there are restrictions of going to church. So during COVID-19, apparently you can go to a casino in Las Vegas, but you cannot go to church. The world is upside down right now. It's gonna get straightened out. God is good. Anyway, these people were telling me like this is crazy, and the reaction to that news made them very upset. It made them feel as if there's a force that is preventing them from prayer, preventing them from church. And I said, well, as we know, God is inside all of us. God is all around us. Therefore, church can be anywhere. Church can be anywhere, and your government can put restrictions and things to keep us safe, as they're saying, but they can't get inside your mind. They can't get inside your soul, and they certainly can't manipulate when and how you communicate with God. So I believe that the happier people, and it certainly was my own experience, the more I started to lean on God and tap into my faith, the more fulfilled I became, the happier I became. I completely changed my life. I am coming to you now at 5:30 Eastern Time on the 5th of August, 2020. It is a Tuesday. And if this was 2006, let's say, I would be in an office in New York City, and I would be looking at the clock, wondering if I have everything straightened out for today, if I have everything on my to-do list for tomorrow, what phone calls I need to make as soon as I come in the morning. Did I write back all these emails that I need to sort out? Because at 6 o'clock, I have to get out of here, my office, so that I can rush across town, deal with pushy commuters and other things like this, get on a bus, and get home. And deal with maybe an hour commute if I'm lucky, maybe an hour and a half, depending on traffic, depending on all of this. And I would be in public transportation. There's stress involved in that, dealing with other people. My life is none of that now. None of that. And I believe the reason my life transformed as it did is because I stopped looking for man-made solutions to a spiritual problem. The problem that I had was I was looking to fulfill myself with man-made people, places, things, circumstances. I wasn't fulfilling myself through spirit. And when I learned how to do that, everything in my life changed. So I believe that we are seeing an interesting opportunity unfold in front of us in America. We have a huge opportunity to come together as a really strong, powerful nation. And having that be rooted in spiritual faith is really the one thing that will unite all of us. So if we put our differences aside, right, left, leftist, crazy conservative, crazy whatever, both sides, and we look more towards what really truly guides us, our intuition. How do we know what's right and wrong? Who do we go to in times of confusion, in times of problems, in times of struggles, right? If you're not going to something higher, if you're going to something man-made, you're always going to be let down, and you're always going to view the world as if there are problems, as if there are crises, as if there's just one hot mess after the next. But when you go to something higher and greater, you start to see that everybody's going to the same higher, greater thing. And that higher, greater thing loves all of us, no matter what. Eternally, no matter what. And so when you start answering to that, you start seeing divinity in everybody. Even the people that you're disagreeing with on social media, and Lord knows I've had my conversations with people. I've had people blocking me. I've had people that I've blocked too, because again, I protect my peace. I protect my well-being. And if people are going to come at me disrespectfully, they're not coming at me at all. And I'm not going to be manipulated into people saying to me that, oh, you're rejecting a differing viewpoint. No, I'm open to different viewpoints, 100%. It's through different viewpoints that I made the transition in my life that I did. I was living a whole different way. And because I opened myself up to differing viewpoints, I started to see a whole other way of life. And that way of life was way more aligned with my soul and my happiness, and just filling me up in a way that a job could not, money in the bank could not, a husband, a boyfriend, a lover, whatever, could not. This becomes personal responsibility for your happiness and your peace. And when you commit to that, you stop looking to external things, external man-made factors to fill you up and fulfill you. You start to fulfill yourself through your faith, and then you bring a fulfilled person to the world, and then you start to attract amazing opportunities, people, places, all the things that you're thinking is going to fill you up. It's like opposite. It's turning the paradigm, like new paradigm. Before, I was living my life like, when this happens, I'll be happy. I was looking for the thing outside to happen to then bring me my happiness. And what I realized was, when I get in faith and I find happiness and I feel peaceful and I'm clear and I can make decisions for myself from a happy, harmonious place, that's when all of those things come. So I'm not chasing things. I'm not trying to make anything really happen. I'm just chilling, I'm feeling good, and I'm allowing things to manifest. I'm allowing things to happen in my life. And ever since I took that stance in my life, I found better things coming to me. And the more I have, the more I can share with other people. So I'm Lisa Concepcion. I'm a certified professional life coach, and I specialize in helping type A professionals, just like yourselves, who may struggle with relationships, marriages, divorce, heartbreak, narcissistic abuse, toxic relationships. You got it together professionally, but when it comes to relationships, you need a little bit of help. And we've all been there. So I help people out with that. You can find me at lovequestcoaching.com, where you can do a free love life assessment. You can also find me on Instagram, if that's your jam, at Lisa the Love Coach. Much love and happiness, and I'll be back tomorrow with another message for you. Thanks. Bye.